Hey, it's Rob. Welcome to Axel's Garage. Well, we're stuck inside the garage today because we got Hurricane Henry or Henri, whatever you call it. It's been raining for the last about 2 days now, and we just got a little lull, and the sun's not out, but it's not raining right now. The forecast is for more rain the rest of the day, so we're pretty much stuck in the garage. So we did a little cleanup, and we've been wanting to start a new video series, which is a partnership that we have with NiLight. Now, NiLight is a light company that I'm sure many of you have heard about, especially if you clicked on the title of this video. They seem to be a Chinese-made, decent quality light, a budget-friendly light that actually works and seems to be halfway decent, because you know you have the good, expensive LED light pods and light bars and all kinds of different lights, and they're real pricey and they're real good quality. Some of them are, you know, American, US made. Then you have your cheap Chinese knockoffs that you find all over eBay and Amazon, and then somewhere in the middle there you have NiLight. And the difference is, yeah, made in China. It is a company based in the US that imports their lights. They're made in China, but they do give you a 2-year warranty on the light. So, in partnership with NiLight, we're going to start talking about some of these lights. So what we have here in this box, this is going to be for Cosmo, our 2000 XJ that my daughter Emily is going to drive. It's pretty much not going to see really any off-road use. She just wants it to look nice and be a functional truck that looks a little rugged and rough around the edges. So what we have here is the NiLight 40001F-B, Frank Boy. And what these are slim 7-inch LED 30-watt floodlights. And these are actually going to be in a functional spot. So it's a real thin, it's 7 inches end to end, and it's a slim light. And in the package for these lights is just the lights and the mounting hardware, no wiring kit. You can buy a wiring kit for these, and I believe there might even be a package of these under a different model number that you can order them with the wiring harness. We're using these for absolute function, and it's going to be for the reverse lights or the backup lights, because Emily does have trouble seeing behind her when she's backing up. As a new driver, that can happen from time to time. Also in the box you have a variety of mounting hardware, which we'll go through, and an insert with some QR code scannables to leave a review and enter to win a contest and get more information about the lights you might have purchased. I will link everything we talk about today in the description below. And these two lights here, I was impressed when I first took them out of the box and looked at them. They seem to be a decent quality light. They seem to be fairly heavy. I can't see where the quality was skimped. It seems to be gasketed everywhere that it needs to be gasketed. The wire going into the light is sealed very well, not like on the cheap Chinese pods. When you look at them, it's just a wire going in, and you could see clear as day into the housing where water's going to get in. Where we're going to mount these is going to be under the rear bumper to give her added backup lights or reverse lights. The mounting hardware that it comes with, okay, includes a bunch of hardware, which is nice. You get taller mounts, okay, and then you got the real shorty mounts, which is the ones that we're going to use, because these are going under the bumper, and we just haven't decided yet. The only thing we haven't decided is whether we're going to mount them straight out on either side, or we're going to just give them a little bit of an angle towards the outside on either side. We'll have to see the way it looks when we get them up under temporarily before we permanently mount them. Also in the bag is all your hardware. You have Allen headed bolts, you have flat washers, you have lock washers, and you have nylon lock nuts. And an Allen key, in case you didn't have an Allen key to go along with it. But you got a nice variety of hardware to go along with your lights and your mounting brackets. They give you 4 of each, 4 shorties and 4 standard, to fit all of your mounting needs. And we'll bring the camera in a second, and I'll show you everything that we have here nice and close up. Alright, so in the package you can see we have the Allen key, are nylon locking nuts, lock washers, flat washers, and an assortment of long bolts, Allen-headed bolts, and short Allen-headed bolts, depending on how you need to set it up. All right, the light itself, okay, is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 LEDs. These are 5-watt LEDs each. 6 times 5, 30 watts. That's 30 watts in each light. It's got a nice, you can see right here, it's got a nice rubber grommet that holds the wire in and seems to be fairly weather tight. And you will notice around the lenses and all the parts where it's screwed in, there are actual rubber seals in there, and we were hoping that those rubber seals will do their job. There's a protective film on there. That's not a wrinkle in the lens, it's just a protective film for shipping. It's got some nice heat sinks in the back, and it's got a decent amount of weight to it. It seems like a light that's made halfway decent. Again, 2-year warranty on the lights themselves. Bracket wise, here's your shorty brackets, and they're going to go on the light like this and allow you to swivel. And then you got your standard brackets, which are longer, and they're more like a pedestal bracket, so that you can get it up away from something if you need to use this for your mounting needs. Pretty much a right angle style bracket, either way you slice it, so that if you had to do a completely custom application, any right angle bracket that you might have to use that had a hole size similar to this, you could probably get away with if you need a custom application for mounting. See if we can take a 12-volt tool battery, find the positive and the negative, and see what the light looks like. Alright, so there is our light lit up. It's got a nice, it's got like a round pattern, the way it's looking right now. Not a real flat wide pattern like the light is shaped. It's got more of a round pattern, but that's going to be tough to tell here. It's going to be easier to tell once we install them on the car, but they are definitely throwing out a decent amount of bright light. It looks to be about a 6500 to a 6000 to 6500 K color temperature. They're white, but there is definitely a hint of a blue tinge. I'll show you that one more time if you didn't really get the color wise on it. There is it's fairly white. I'm going to guess this is in the 6000, yeah, to 6500 range. There's a tiny hint of it starting to get blue, but for the most part, it's white. Not a true daylight like a 5000, but close enough for the $30 that these lights cost you. We're using them as, like I said, backup or reverse lights. Now, when it comes time to doing this and wiring backup and reverse lights, there's some easy ways, there's some complex ways, and there's some really complex ways to do it. But what you need to do is you need to know what your load is and figure out what that load is. So in this particular Jeep XJ, it had two 3157 bulbs, one on each side and each taillight, and those were the reverse or the backup lights. Now a 3157 or a 3156 bulb draws about 2.2 to 2.8 amps each, which is giving you that sort of that 5 to 6 amp range on that circuit. So that circuit will absolutely handle a 5 to 6 amp range on an incandescent bulb. And as you know, incandescent bulbs, as they age, just before they start to go out, they build up some resistance, and the amperage draw through that circuit gets a little tougher. And so saying that it's a 6 amp or so circuit is you know, functional 6 amp circuit is a good estimate based on the bulbs, which are, like I said, anywhere from 2.2 to 2.6 or 8 amps, depending on what brand bulb you buy. Now these lights here at 30 watts each light, okay, so if you do the math on that's going to bring you to about 2.3 amps per light, so 4.6 amps for the pair. And then on our Jeep, we replaced our 3157 backup light bulbs with LED backup light bulbs that run about 12.5 watts, and that's going to bring us to about 1 amp each bulb. So we got 1 amp, 1 amp, we got 5 amps pretty much here. So we're 5, 6, 7 amps. We're 7 amps on a circuit that was carrying approximately 6 amps initially. How much of a room of a margin of error there are on that circuit? There's probably a good 75% margin of error on that circuit. So could you tap these off of your backup light circuit without using a relay or bringing more power in? Yeah, realistically you could, and you'd probably be safe with it. Shoot, for years, you know, before the LED lights became popular, for years, guys would take, you know, like a 55 watt halogen fog light or floodlight and tap it off the reverse circuit and not change out the taillight bulbs to LEDs and never blow fuses or anything like that. So could you tap this? Absolutely, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to tap it, make it nice and easy. We're just going to tap it off our circuit, not run any extra wires to the back of the vehicle, because there is nothing else on this particular vehicle that we're going to need other power feeds coming to the back for. Now, on the other Jeep, we have more stuff planned, so we might run and wire them differently, but it's all about what your intended use is. These are really only going to come on, only need to come on when she puts the transmission in reverse and it activates the backup light circuit. So having 7 amps going through the circuit instead of 6 amps from the factory, we're going to be well within the margin of error that circuit's designed for. Now, real simply, an inline fuse. Can you put an inline fuse to protect the two lights? You absolutely can. Do you have to? You don't, because the circuit that you're tapping it off of is a fuse circuit. So if you overload that circuit, that's going to pop that fuse. If you put a fuse between that circuit where you're going to tap it from and these lights, chances are the fuse up front controlling that circuit is going to blow before the fuse on these lights ever blow as well. That's one way to do it. A second way to do it would be with a relay. All right, so now with a relay, you would take these lights and you would wire them to the output of the relay. The input of the relay would be a power feed from preferably the battery from up front to the back, and then to switch it, to turn these lights on, to switch it, you would tap off of the backup light circuit, the one we're going to use to power the lights, and that you can bring to the switch leg of the relay, and boom, it switches the relay. So when you put it in reverse, it energizes that circuit now switches the relay opens the flow of power from the battery, where you ran that wire from the battery to the relay and from the output of the relay to the light, and that's how you did it. Just remember, when you're wiring them, these are LEDs, and there is a red that goes to positive and there is a black that goes to negative, and it says it on the light. You can't switch them like a regular incandescent bulb. The black's got to be on negative, red's got to be on positive, no switching back and forth. That is it. The other way you could do it, which gets even more complicated, is to do it with a switch up on the dash, and you can use relays for that as well. And what that can give you the option of doing is switching that relay on when the vehicle is not in reverse, so that you can have it come on automatically when the vehicle goes in reverse, where the reverse circuit will switch the relay on, or you can have it manually switch so that you can turn them on when the reverse circuit is not activated. So if you're going forward, or you're in a forward gear, or you're in park and you want to light up behind you, you can throw a switch and it'll light up behind you. All right, we're not doing that in this situation. We are going to do that in the other XJ we're building. We want to be able to have it switched from up front and have it work with the gear selector, and that's because that other vehicle is going to be more of an off-road, possibly hanging out, tailgating kind of vehicle, where we want some lights in the back. This vehicle is going to be a daily driver for Emily, so we just want to give her that extra light so that she can see. If the rain ever stops, and it's just starting up again, holy cow, it is just raining for days. If the rain ever stops in Hurricane Henry or Henri, whatever the heck its name is, if it eventually moves out of the way, which we're hoping by the end of the week we should see some sun, we're going to get these lights mounted up on XJ-Cosmo. That's our project vehicle. It's a 2000 Jeep Cherokee, and we will take you along with us in the second video here, sponsored by NiLight. So just to recap on these lights, NiLight, they're the 40001F-B. They're 7-inch slim 30-watt floodlights. They put out about 3,600 lumens each light. They run 30 watts each light. They got a total of a 5 amp draw, 2.5 amps each light, and they are covered by a 2-year manufacturer's warranty. And the company that you'd be dealing with, NiLight, in the States here, to make a warranty claim or for customer service or to ask them some tech support questions, is based right out of New Jersey. So calling them isn't an issue. Communicating with them by email or by phone or through their website is not an issue. So I'll link everything in the description below. We thank NiLight for partnering with us with this project, and on the next XJ-Cosmo video, you will see these lights getting installed and working in Emily's Jeep Cherokee. As always, comments, questions, down below in the box, and thanks for watching.